All right, everybody, it's me again. Time to talk about roleplay fighting. So I think I'm just going to continue where I picked off from the last video about my philosophy about roleplay fighting. That is more than an art, and that I believe that most of roleplay fighting, certain aspects of it, came from the system that I created or the system that I use. This is because that when I started roleplay fighting, I started on a chat site, and no one showed me anything. Like, no one showed me how to. They taught me the basic. Someone taught me the basic, and it's the same basics I use today. To how to approach someone. How to attack someone. Pretty much how to attack someone in a basic way. I broke the system down, took out things that wasn't needed. And specified the things that were needed, which is the 5 commands, and built around that. And when I started, like people was cheating because they was voting to see who was the winner. And before that, I was watching, seeing how people fought. I wasn't losing. So I didn't want to lose. I wanted my first fight to be a win. Who doesn't want that to be a win? And so I sat back, practiced, did what I had to do, and it was time for me to fight. So I fought, whatever, and I really don't remember all the details about the fight, but I do remember the end. And they was like, "So who do you think won?" I'm like, wait a minute, like, what do you mean? Who do you think won? Like, did you not see the logic? Like, at this moment of time, I attacked him at this moment, so therefore, he gets hit or whatever. And it was, oh yeah, I think so and so won, because I'm like, hold on, like this can't be real, because it's like the logic was there to show that, look, I'm the winner. Like, what do you need to vote for? And it's like, I guess back then I had a different mindset of role play fighting, because the only way to determine a winner is by logic. If you make a wrong move, you lose. It wasn't about to see who can role play the best death scene, or role play the best character or whatever. That wasn't in my head at the time. It was about who can be who. Who can destroy who's first. And so that was in my mind, and I guess I skipped the part of the art part and just focused on just kicking butt. And I developed a system to say that, look, everything's going to be logic. Like, there will be no excuse. You can't say, well, maybe this, and or if this happened. Like, no, everything's going to be 2 + 2 = 4. Therefore, you know what the answer is, and you lost. That's how it's going to be. I don't have, because if you assume and imagine things and make things up, there would be no winner. You will always have to vote, and that was unfair to me, because I wanted to win, and since I didn't have friends and stuff like that, I would never be voted as a winner, because I was new, and I wasn't like the best role player at the time. Still not the best role player. I can't role play to save my life, but I can surely fight though. But I didn't have a lot of friends, and they always voted with their buddies, whatever. So I had enough, and like I said before, that was it. So I fell back. Someone tried to attack me. That's a different story. So I'll tell you that maybe another day. You can see all this history, my whole history about my role play journey, I guess, quote unquote, growing up. It's it's a YouTube video that I have that I made. You check that out. So I fell back, and I'm just practicing, doing the same routine I did, cutting attacks out, putting it in the hat, picking them out, and practicing how to counter it, practicing how to write against it, stuff like that. And I'm watching, and this is where the aspect of time and effort comes from. This is where virtual warfare gets its basis from. So I'm watching people fight, and they fighting with vampires, dragons, whatever they fight, angels, whatever. And when they're explaining their stuff, they say, I dash at you with vampire speed and slash you with vampire speed. I'm watching, okay, he's a vampire. Vampire speed must be fast. And I look at the other person, I'm like, they do the same thing, vampire speed, vampire slash. I'm thinking like everything seems so spontaneous, like nothing is like really. Nothing is like really like showing any type of effort or how much effort a character is putting into her attack. There was no effort, and I seen it as a flaw. Like how if you say you throw, it's like two humans fighting. If I'm a human, I say I punch at you with human force and speed. Like of course I'm a human. Like what else force and speed you're going to use? So it didn't verify anything, and the only way to verify things was to put it in a level, to put effort and exertion into certain levels, which is the only three basics. We all have them: soft drinks, whatever, fries, small, medium, supersize. Some places don't have supersize where I'm from, used to, but they don't anymore, I don't think. So it would be light exertion, medium exertion, and full force, and that's the only way to determine how much effort one is putting into a punch. For example, if I'm throwing a hook, hook could come in many forms. It could come in a light form, medium form, and a full force form. I shouldn't have to explain further because by this point, we all should know where I'm trying to get at. So I seen that happen, and I'm like, yo, like this ain't right, because how can an opponent how can an opponent know the correct way to dodge? If you just say you throw a hook with vampire speed, like I don't know if I can see the hook coming, or if I can't see the hook coming, or if it's too strong for me to block and I got to duck, or if it's not that strong I can block. I need to know these things in order for me to control my character in a better way. And if the opponent doesn't give me how much effort he's put it into, same way with distance. If the opponent doesn't state how much distance they are from the person, it's not gonna I would never know. Everything would be ambiguous. I won't know anything. And I don't want to say that I was the one who started putting distance in role play posts, but I definitely made that an emphasis on or within my site, because people, it wasn't about logic, it wasn't about science, it wasn't about data, it wasn't about none of that. It was about just me and you having a character. I give a move, you give a move, and we role play it out like we're telling a story. It's supposed to be a story. It wasn't supposed to be a role play battle to the death with powers that's supposed to explode. And even though that was part of the role play story, that wasn't how the person was going to die. The person was going to die a dramatic death, last scene, get stabbed and fall down to the ground. But I didn't realize that. I was just fighting just to win, try to use my logic and say, look, I'll beat you because 2 + 2 is 4. I didn't realize any of that stuff. And, I came to this system to where, logic stands over quote unquote fantasy, even though you need fantasy for role play. But without logic, you can't really determine a winner fairly. You would just be voting to see who's the winner because you cool with your buddies, and that's not fair. So this is where the system comes from, virtual warfare. And yeah, so here we are at the 8-minute again. I'll probably continue the story because there's a lot more. I do want to continue the story, so you can catch me in the next video coming soon, and I see everybody next time. You dosters.